Sir, this side here. Sir, this general. No, it's like.
So is your contract?
Right now. Yes. And then you're never gonna get done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't need to watch on today. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need.
That's not really.
Isaac?
Here.
Isaac?
Here.
Hannah? Here. Caitlin? Here. Athea? Here. Joel?
Here.
Javier?
Here.
Ariana? Here. Ume? Here. Ian?
Here.
Megan? Kenny? Kenny? Benjamin? Da Vinci?
Here.
Leandre?
Here.
Christopher Lee?
Here.
Christopher Blue Lopez? Christopher Blue? Aaron? Aaron? Ethan?
It's here.
Ria? Here. Adrian? Here. Jenna? Here. Jason?
Here.
Nicholas?
Here.
Kate, here, Matthew, here, Jennifer. Jennifer. And Daniela. Here.
Yeah.
Can I first get a motion to approve the minutes of Wednesdays, 6/14/2023?
I moved to approve the minutes for June 14th and 23.
Moved by Javier, seconded by Joel. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, the minutes are approved. Also get a motion to approve the minutes of June 22nd, 2023.
I moved to approve the minutes for June 22nd, 2023.
I second.
Moved by Javier, seconded by Verici. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, the minutes are approved. We'll be moving on to public comments. First, we will have a public comment from some of the members of the public. We have our board of the trustees, President Patrick Aarons, as well as our FHD Chancellor Lee Lambert, and also our AVP Thomas Ray. And I think also we have our De Anza College President, Holmes. They'll be speaking for about 15 minutes about the development of the health clinic on campus. And if there are no objections, they'll be able to speak for about 15 minutes. And they'll be also able to answer some questions you might have. But any other concerns that you might want to share, we'll also be looking into having a meeting to discuss this further. So would you all be able to speak on this?
Sure. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Patrick Aarons. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees. It's good to see your student representative here, Javier, who represents you all quite well on the board. I'm joined here by our Chancellor, Lee Lambert. And as was mentioned, we also have our president, Lloyd Holmes, and our AVP, Thomas Ray. And it's really great to be back. For those of you who don't know, I'm the college alum and a DASB, a former when we called it DASB. Dennis was actually one of my mentors when I was a student here. So it's always great to be back on campus. Just a quick introduction of the medical building. I know that there have been some questions. So how this all started essentially was there was a Mercury News article that I was reading about how the county of Santa Clara doesn't have a county medical clinic in Supervisor District 5, the west side of the county, and everywhere else they have a county medical clinic, which is important from an equity perspective because the county medical buildings and community clinics are free clinics for folks in the county who need medical services, emergency medical services, mental health, dental, primary care, and a lot of them were in higher need areas. And as we all know, we have the good fortune of going to school in De Anza College, that there is a lot of privilege that comes with being in this area. And one of the issues about not having a county clinic in this area is there's a lot of people that work here, that go to school here in this area, and they would have to drive all the way back to San Jose or other parts of the county just to have basic access to medical care. And so I messaged our county board of supervisor, Joe Samidian, who thought it would be a really interesting idea for us to explore the possibility of having a medical clinic on De Anza's campus. So we're in that exploratory phase right now, where we're collecting input. No decisions have been made formally, but we're still very much in the process of figuring out how will this benefit students, faculty, and staff in the community. Where exactly will it be on campus, and a lot of other those details. So, but to be very clear, they have a lot of, the potential for this medical clinic is extreme, I would say. As many of you know, we have a nursing program that sometimes struggles to get clinical hours that they need in hospitals and clinics. This would potentially allow our nursing students to get their clinical hours that they need to graduate on time. This would also include a potential dental clinic as well. Many of you know that Foothill has a dental hygienist program, but it would also mean that it would be free dental care for our students at both Foothill and De Anza and the community. Mental health is also a huge issue right now facing our students. We didn't have any mental health counselors when I was a student, and I suffer from a lot of depression and anxiety. And so the idea that access to mental health is not just for people who can afford it or people who have healthcare, but we would, instead of struggling to work with our limited budgets to hire mental health counselors, we could actually have a potential priority list where students would get priority mental health counseling from trained professionals and practitioners at the county. There's also talk about childcare benefits that the county could bring with our child development center. There's a lot of options that are being thrown at the table right now, but nothing is really finalized. Now, as for the location, recently the Board of Trustees has put forward, based on working with the county, it's completely county funded. We wouldn't have to pay for anything. A draft site selection. So we're still trying to determine the exact specifications of where this would be. I know that there's also a proposal to have a parking garage next to it. Again, that's still being studied. I'm not convinced of whether we are going to have one or we may have one. That still needs to go through our shared governance process. We have a lot of input that's still needed between our facilities, between students and faculty and staff that needs to occur. But one of the things that I know that the board is committed to is to have very minimal or no impact on the farmers market or flea market that would potentially go in this area. Many of you may know that it's proposed to have 25,000 square foot building on campus. But it's also 2 stories, so it could even potentially be the footprint itself about 12,000 square feet, which is roughly the size of the dining hall. So if you think about how large our parking lots AV are, it would be roughly the size of the dining hall upstairs. So without the parking garage, which would also create, I think, anywhere from $16 to $20 million in extra expense. So I would like to kind of maybe stop there and maybe open it up to any questions and let our chancellor say a few words, or our president or AVP wants to say anything as well. Chancellor.
Well, thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Madam President, for having us speak this afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just finishing my 2nd month here at Foothill De Anza. And it's been great so far being here. So impressed with all of this engagement from all of you. It just reminds me of when I was a student, and I'm just glad that De Anza College provides you the platform to be engaged in the governance of your college. So with that said, let me put this in a large context for a moment. So when Patrick approached me with this great opportunity, it was like it fits right into something that you'll hear me talk about, and some of you might have heard me talk about this before, and that's the 4 lenses of innovation. So and he talked a lot about it already without saying the 4 lenses, understanding the needs. So when you think about the needs out there in our community here at the college, a project like this fits right in there, right? And then you think about the leveraging resources. So going forward into the future, partnerships are going to be increasingly essential to the success, especially of public entities. So when we can partner with a partner like Santa Clara County to do something very innovative and groundbreaking, like bringing a health center onto campus. And I believe we would be the first in the state of California if that happens, when that happens, right? So we're really talking about something much larger than any of us in this room. But we also recognize that it does have an impact. And we're very sensitive to that because you all have been reliant, as Patrick mentioned, on the flea market and the farmers market and the revenue that comes from that. I think we can work together to find ways to minimize the impact of that. I think there's ways to rethink how you lay out the markets here so that you don't lose the space and maybe even enhance what is already happening here. And it's my understanding over time things have kind of declined how, maybe we can reinvigorate that and really give it another new level of boost as well as part of this effort. I just want you to know I'm committed to supporting your success, and that we also have to keep in mind partnerships are going to be key to our future. So with that, glad to take questions.
Would there be any costs associated with availing these new health services for us as students and faculty members? And are there any eligibility requirements for us?
So the county has an agreement with all of their county clinics that regardless of your ability to pay, that you would get these services covered. So there would be no direct cost associated with folks who are in need of the services that's being paid by the county. Those details are, obviously being worked out, the range of services, but the county clinic model is there for folks who can't afford or don't have health insurance. Yes,
Would the county be paying for the healthcare professionals that would be providing these services?
correct. They would be paying for not only the construction infrastructure costs, but they would be paying for all of the personnel, the doctors, the counselors, the technicians. Everything would be 100% county paid.
Would the health service and the mental service be merged into the, the proposed?
That would be separate. I know that President Holmes might be able to speak more specifically to some plans moving forward for our own health service center here on campus, but that would be separate because that serves specifically our student population. And I know that President Holmes, if you wanted to chime in on the sort of future of the health center.
So, no, we certainly have no intentions of creating ourselves of our health center because, you may recall when I spoke here before, there are certain requirements that we have in an education institution like immunization records, those sorts of things. Working with our athletes on verification, those types of things, our health services does that, and that would not be done by the county health facility. So we would still need our staff to do that.
Thank you. Yes,
Would these services be available to both part-time students and full-time students?
correct. And community members and faculty staff. We're also even taking a look at our partnership with VTA to even see if there's opportunities to increase more lines, since a medical center could be a destination for more folks on campus. Yes,
So if it's like everyone, like all community members, would that mean there would be a much higher amount of like non-DMs students on campus regularly?
correct. It would be open to the community. Yes.
What are the operating hours of the medical center? Would it be like 24/7 or just Monday to
Good
Friday?
question. That's still being worked out, but what I can say is, I was interested in that as well. We're letting our process take place between negotiations with the county and the college and the district. But when looking online at all of the county clinics, none of them are open on Sundays. So a few of them are open on Saturdays, but my understanding is that our flea market and farmer's market are on Sundays, and so this would Sunday.
First Saturday of the month.
For Saturday, so I mean, that could be part of the negotiation where, 94% of the county clinics in the county are not open outside of Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Further questions? Still very new. This is not the first time you're going to be hearing about this. We have a really robust process that the district, our facilities, shared governance leaders, our chancellor, the board of trustees, President Holmes, are all going to be moving forward on this really exciting proposal. Again, as Chancellor said, first in the state proposal, and that's kind of what it is right now, is a proposal. I'm really excited about this possibility and what it can do for our students and communities. But it's still very much in the process of working out these details. But as you can see, a lot of benefits, but also there's a lot of things that we still need to work out. So to ensure that it benefits our students and doesn't impact any negatively our flea market, farmers market, or performing arts. I know we have our BPAC right there. So I think it's really important that whatever proposal goes forward ultimately to the Board of Trustees, that we're ensuring that it doesn't have any impact or greatly minimizes the impact of existing services on campus.
It looks like we have a question online.
Oh, we have people online? Oh, we didn't have that when I was a student. I mean, we had the internet, but
Can you read it, Lydia? Can you read it?
this is transcribed.
Are they, where's the, right here?
Dana is.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Dana and I'm the flea market coordinator. So I greatly appreciate you coming today to talk to us about this because we had not been in communication or heard about the extent or what level of the proposal, whether it's a proposal or whether it was finalized at this time. So are there also different locations that are being proposed for the medical center? Because currently the flea market, which is only on the first Saturday of every month, is in Lot A and Lot B. And we've just exceeded like our number of booths to 626 for this Saturday. So it's one of our largest markets. So I was just wondering if you were looking at just Lot B or if you were looking at different locations around the campus.
I know that, thank you so much, Dana. Very good question. I know that there's been a preliminary draft site selection of it being in, I believe, Lot B.
Correct.
However, there's been a lot of different studies and proposals. A lot of it doesn't have to do with just what is available above ground. My understanding is that there's a lot of underground trenching and lines, whether it be electrical, water, or Wi-Fi infrastructure that we're expanding. So there are a lot of unseen issues of just having it anywhere where there's available space. That being said, as I said before, we're still studying the impact of whether or not we're going to have a parking structure attached to it or not. And as we move forward with this proposal, the building itself is 25,000 square feet total. If it's fully two stories, we're talking about 12,000 square feet. Wherever you have it, A, B, I don't see it impacting the flea market at all at 12,000 square feet. That being said, we'll definitely keep you engaged as the leader of our flea market to make sure that you're included in this proposal as we begin to finalize plans so we can bring that back to you and the rest of the Senate.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And the market is this Saturday from 8 to 2 if you wanted to stop by.
Thank you. I've gone every time for the past couple of years now, except for COVID. So very fond memories of when I went as a student as well.
Thank you.
So lots of exciting proposals. I do know that I will just speak very briefly since I think we're running out of time. As many of you know, we passed bond measure G in 2020. The Board of Trustees made a historic $200 million commitment to affordable housing for students, faculty, and staff. And we're going to be finalizing our discussions around that. We'll have a few town halls. I believe we're going to be having a study session on housing here in the next few months as well. So we're going to be sure to let your student trustee know, your student body president, and advisors know to get as much participation in that as possible, because that is the largest amount of affordable housing that any community college in the state of California has allocated. And we really need input from all of you and your fellow peers to see how can we make the best decision on terms of what types of housing. It is a particular passion of mine as someone who's been homeless as a student. So we know, I don't need to tell you how important having stable housing is for our students. And so lots of ideas like this that are going to be floating around, and we'll be sure that your student representatives and you all know what those plans are moving forward, so you can be included in the process. Wonderful. Thank you all for having me. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments for the meeting? Yeah.
Mentors at the end are looking for new mentors and mentees. Applications open about 2 weeks ago, they close on October 20th. If anyone's interested in applying, it's a great way to help you to become campus.
Are there any other public comments? Moving on to,
Sorry, I have one for, I don't think anyone's here for the Office of Equity, but there's an event tomorrow, the Bienvenida, hosted in the conference room as part of Latinx Heritage Month, from 4 to 7 p.m. Lots of campus resources, but also some vendors, will be, up in the conference rooms, to commemorate the month. There's gonna be a lot of other, Latinx Heritage Month events as well. That's a great place to learn about them, but definitely spread the word, and then stop by.
are there any other public comments? Moving on to advisor announcements, starting from the advisors in person, Malia, then is our conflict.
Welcome to the first meeting of the new academic year. Hope everyone has a great fall quarter. You're enjoying your classes so far.
Okay, well, very good. I have some treats, so to keep you all awake for the next couple hours or an hour and a half now. So this actually was supposed to be put out during our training, and we just never did that. So it's a mochi. I don't know if there's enough for everybody, so but I will start here with Christopher, and you get to kind of pass it off. So I'll let you all kind of munch on some stuff. But yes, this is our first Senate meeting, and so far you're all doing a great job. What just happened right now is an exception. Typically, we wouldn't, belabor this part, but this all kind of just gonna happen organically, and so because it is the chancellor, and surprisingly, our president came, and of course, our Patrick Aaron, who, as you all know, is the president of the board of trustees. We wanted to make an exception, and I think it just said a lot that they came out here, and thanks to Javier, he's the one that kind of started this whole, thread of messages that he sent to Patrick, and then it just kind of went up and up, and then so it was really nice to see that the chancellor was interested in coming and meeting with all of you as well. So thank you all for giving them that space today, and hope that clarified for some of you some of the questions we've had about this whole medical facility. But I think what I heard today was that this is all in the talking phases, so no decisions have been made. So that's good. So I think they heard us loud and clear that they need to involve us, and I think moving forward, they certainly will. And I know Javier will be at that table when those discussions do happen, and we'll bring it back to us. So, okay, enjoy your treat. And oh, there's different flavors. Okay, just I'm gonna take one. But it's
Happy first Senate meeting. For those of you who are here as new and prospective interns or prospective senators, I look forward to meeting with you more, getting to know you and seeing your work in the committee. For our executive and internal officers, it's been an awesome start. I want to congratulate you on a very awesome, engaging welcome day. And I want to thank you all for your participation throughout training. All of the, vision, boarding and planning for the year. And I'm really excited to see it all happen this year. I want to ask, if you haven't already, please do complete the evaluation for training. It's really helpful for us to, work on it, and to those who said they want to be involved in the planning process. Thank you, and we'll be reaching out probably this quarter, because we do want to make sure that, we talk about it while it's still relatively fresh. That said, like, if you do have things that you would suggest, improvements that you make, or things that didn't work for you, we can include that in feedback, right? Not just say, like, I didn't like it, like, so tell me more, so we can work with that. But we all really appreciate your participation, the respective shows that are all of our guest presenters. And I hope it was helpful in preparing you for this week. But yeah, it's gonna be a great year. Dana, do you have anything? Oh, and then, sorry, reminder. So a lot of meetings, Wednesdays, basically the weeks that there are not rep meetings, I'm probably gonna be here online, so I'm gonna be depending on the Zoom caption. And a few of you, what you said, you need to come up. So make sure that we're practicing, projecting, so that microphone right there can pick up what you're saying. It's good for practicing public speaking anyway, but also help me and anyone who else is on the Zoom to be sure to hear you. So if you're following on Zoom and you don't see your words and the captions, that means that folks online probably can't hear you. And me as a hard of hearing person, I definitely can. So practice, lots of fun to practice. Dana?
I just want to thank everybody for being here today and for your participation and your enthusiasm for the fall quarter. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the events that are taking place for weeks of welcome. So thank everyone, and thank you for making sure everybody is involved and feels welcome.
Are there any other items? Moving on to the Senate announcements, are there any Senate announcements? We're having our first week of welcome event tomorrow. It's gonna be a safety open house. I sent the sign up sheet in the announcement chat, I think, so make sure you sign up for it. And we're requesting that please, like, one person per each committee be there, because if someone asks me on finance, like, I'm not gonna be able to answer that, so it would be really helpful if we can have like at least one person. Are there any other senator announcements? I have a quick Senate announcement for everyone who has a laptop up, and I want to ask you all to be really present for these 2 hours. So if you have your laptop, make sure it's related to DASG. I do look at the agenda or anything. But please take this time, it's just 2 hours. I'll try to get everyone out of here really quickly to not focus on schoolwork or anything else you might be working on, but just be really focused. And I also wanted to thank everyone for being on time for this meeting and for joining. So, seeing no other senator announcements, are there any student trustee announcements?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say I'm glad and was a happy first Senate meeting, and I'm really excited to work with all of you this academic year. Just to catch you guys up on what happened with board of trustees over summer. First off, what was it? In July, regarding the Flint Center, funded arrangement for its demolition having passed, and funding for roofing renovations in the L1 building has passed as well. Then let's go here. Okay, August. Congratulations to Danny Nguyen, Ellen Wheeler, and Arthur Heinrich for being appointed to the Measure G and C Bond Oversight Committee. CEQA Compliance Services will be supporting the Measure G bond, which requires state and local government agencies to inform decision makers and the public about the potential environmental impact of proposed projects and to reduce those environmental impacts to the extent feasible. Wood Builders Incorporated will be in charge of relocating DASG's underground utilities, including telecom services, as per the Measure G bond. Classified staff position 230333, the budget analyst, has been eliminated. Repairs will be done throughout fall quarter to repair water intrusions in the lower level of the ATC. So you might have noticed that some of the classes have moved to the upper levels. DASG softball diamond will be replaced by 6 beach volleyball courts. The board adopted a resolution declaring every 3rd week of October as Undocumented Student Action Week, which is intended to inform community allies and our colleges about how they can build a strong ecosystem that breaks down silos and promotes a collaborative campus approach for our undocumented students. The 2023 Undocumented Student Action Week in the Foothill DASG District will be October 16th to 20th. Then let's see, congratulations to Tim Harper being appointed as the licensed representative of the Child Development Center, and the restrooms in buildings S2, S6, and L5 will be renovated.
Thank you, Javier. Also, if I can go back to Senate announcements, I think we have one more spot open for the WESOL conference. I believe that's October 27th through 29th, so please let us know so we can register you if anything.
Can we just say, we need to know today, so if there's anybody that's free that weekend. You'll be going up with 10 of your DSAG ICC colleagues. Hotel is paid for, meals are paid for, you get to meet other student leaders within the CCC system, so. We need to know today, so if you are thinking, look at your schedule, and if you are free, let us know, and we'll figure out, if there's multiple of you, we'll have Lydia pick somebody.
Moving on to external shared governance reports. Are there any shared governance reports?
Guided Pathways met on Tuesday, the 2nd. There are some new Guided Pathways members on Tuesday. Fatima is also a new member, and Nina Vaughn, both of those are instructors and coordinators. For campus conferences, they're having the Partners in Learning Institute, which is a workshop on strategies for providing support to marginalized student populations. There's also some new equipment in villages, which is the SARS computer for faculty and to also sign in. So if you go to a village, you have to sign in now to control, I guess it's for population control. There's also some new whiteboards, bookshelves with novels and textbooks already on there. New bulletin boards and student computers, which is just one per room, but they're hoping to increase. Specifically to like villages news, they're gonna be having more social events, and they're bringing back popular events such as the transfer and financial aid workshop, movie night, de-stress, and they are introducing a student faculty game night. So if DSG wants to participate in that, let me know. They also saw an increase in student visitors this week and last week. And we can also reserve the village spaces for any events using the reservation form. Thank you.
So wrapping up yesterday, October 3rd, we finalized program review days. We went over a current snapshot of overall budget and currently available funds for personnel and materials. And we also approved the emergency hiring of an articulation officer, which is basically someone who ensures that our college courses are up to date with transfer requirements of the school.
Is it?
So, first of all, curriculum met yesterday, and they basically reviewed and passed through curriculum for 80 courses, about 80 courses, with some requiring recommended changes effective at the earliest next quarter. Still about 60 more courses with more work needed, currently in different phases of approving phases. We also reviewed the curriculum's committee mission and practices. We discussed about possibilities on improving the course reviewing process with faculty initiator. Talked about needed changes on unifying delivery modes on honors/non-honors courses, as well as credit/non-credit courses. We discussed about processes on courses catalog offerings, as well as how transferable courses may face more difficulties on getting approved initially. Discussed about coaching position for curriculum, and as well as identifying potential topics of interest for the 2023/2024 academic year, including better awareness on student population on class offerings, some courses being limited on their quarters, as well as talked about improvements, how can they be done on fitting student transfer need with collaboration needed with different departments. And also Measure G task force met last Friday, and we basically talked about plans for future Measure G meetings, as well as reviewed the board presentation, as well as future plans. We discussed with President Holmes about fundings, and currently we're waiting for District Business Service, Susan Chu, to make evaluation with LPAC on the extra cost of buildings. And hopefully we should know more about before the November trustee meeting.
Adrian?
Okay, so the Environmental Sustainability Action Council met last month on the 28th. So the biggest thing that we discussed was the district's like plan to implement a 3-stream waste disposal system, which is different from our like single stream system now, which is like California passed a law requiring that. So the schools got to do that to stay like the laws. So basically that means there's going to be garbage bins, recycling and composting, which is pretty cool. It's gonna be piloted in the winter program. And the compost is gonna be sent to like an outward facility. And then Danza can request to have as much of it as we want brought back to us to use in our gardens, which is, yeah, pretty cool, I thought. We also like briefly mentioned how Foothill is considering adding some new like electronic vehicle charging stations, which is cool too. And next month we're gonna be talking more about like the heat source for the district schools.
Okay.
SSCCC met this Monday and discussed possible options for holding a Halloween costume contest to raise funds for SSCCC, increase funding for the end of this month, and we're still exploring options for that.
Are there any other shared governance? Moving on to internal DASG committee reports, are there any executives? Feedback?
So on Monday, the finance met and we approved the recommendation of $10,000 from our special allocations for homecoming. So we currently have $16,000 in our special allocations. So there's that. On an unrelated note, it turns out there's a restricted fund balance account surplus reserve for next year. So a lot of money in a restricted fund that apparently we can move for special allocations. We kind of talked about it briefly. That apparently we can move around. I think the recommendation maybe was around $50,000. So we have special allocations, yay! But yeah, we're still working on improving that. So that's what we're working on right now.
Asia, programs met on yesterday, on Tuesday, and we just finished our weeks of welcome planning, and then we also approved to get our programs code sent for next Senate meeting. Isaac.
Administration met on Monday and we basically brainstormed for committee goals.
Caitlin.
Marketing has not met yet, but it meets tomorrow at 10 a.m. interns if you would like to come. But so far we've just been working on weeks of welcome and to market advertising.
So SRA met today, earlier today, and we were just talking about brief priority items for the year. And a lot of that had to do with just increasing diversity. And we were talking about how we want to look towards the 5 diversity seats and kind of bring it more to the equity office as well, and maybe work with them to market it and just have it integrated a bit more, and then by the end we work towards resource fair, and yeah, pretty much it.
Joel, do you have anything for ICC?
Oh, yes, SCC had their first rep meeting today. We have club day on October 12th. Well, 11 to 1 in the Sunken Garden. Looking to come after that. We also did a budget request today. And we have received clubs and and we also talked about open.
Moving on to the consent calendar, can I get a motion to approve all the consent calendar?
I move to approve. Second.
Moved by Javier, seconded by Isaac. Are there any objections? Being no objections, the consent calendar is approved. We'll be moving on to the first business item, which is the DASG student leadership code changes. And so this item is to review and discuss all the proposed codes.
How's the mochi? You good? Is it all gone?
So mostly just adding a couple of missing items, some big missing items, and then some clarification.
So just to remember, this is part of, we call it a scholarship because this is part of your compensation, okay? So for all those elected senators who will be receiving your first scholarship at the end of fall quarter. We forgot to add the office hours and the field hours, so what we're simply doing is just adding those things and some changes to the wording. And so Dennis did a great job of identifying how to enhance what's in here.
And then there was also a section about the timeline that didn't quite make sense. The way it was before, so we've updated that. So we just said all scholarship applications must be submitted by 4 p.m. The 10th Friday of each quarter. Just to make it more clear. And that's really it. Any questions? This is just information discussion this week. And will be action next week for approval.
So the code will basically guide us on how to pay all of you. So this is what you're going to be evaluated on. So we're still working on the actual rubric. During the training, we shared with you a draft that we've created to look at the weight and the percentage of, you know, each of the things that you are responsible for. So once this is approved, then we'll actually go back and finalize the rubric. We'll bring it back to all of you so that you're clear on understanding how you're going to be evaluated in order for you to receive your full scholarship each quarter. Any questions? Pretty straightforward.
Thank you.
We'll be moving on to the next item, which is the homecoming funding request. This item is to review and possibly approve the funding request of up to $10,000 for the fall 2023 homecoming event.
And so this is an action item. So in your agenda, I know we didn't, I think if you didn't do the training, the IDA stands for information, discussion, and action. So whenever there's an A, it means that you're actually gonna be voting.
Yeah, I have a question related to the scholarship. Yeah, so by the end, it said that we need to apply for it by the end of Friday. So is it like a specific?
Yeah, so we'll have the application, that'll probably, in fact, I was gonna say something that I want to confuse you all, but I think we're crafting this application right now as we speak, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah, so, right, so we were trying to figure out exactly what that's gonna look like. If you remember when we were talking about it, we weren't quite sure yet how you're going to report your attendance. Those are things that we're still working out. So, and the thing is this is in pilot form, so we're gonna be looking for some feedback at the end of the quarter to make sure that this was not a hardship, you know, because we don't want to add more additional work for you to get your $300, right? So for your general senators. So yeah, so once the application is set, then so don't worry about it right now. There is no application that you need to fill out. Okay. All right. Okay, so this, like I said, is an action item, and Maritza is here with me because she and I have been working with both Darren and Donna from ICC, the vice chair of the programs, chair of programs and vice chair of programs. Unfortunately, they were not able to be here, but they are on Zoom with us, I believe. And there is
Want to share with.
yeah, if we can share the Canva presentation, and this is what we presented at the finance committee on Monday, and as it's at shared. Finance committee did approve this to move forward to Senate, and so today we will be looking for a vote from all of you on whether or not you approve the 10 grand. So I know it sounds like a lot of money, But let me just step back a little bit and give you some context, and then if we can pull up the Canva presentations. Do you know how to do that?
Open it? Oh, I'm not logged. So, you have this with us?
So as they're figuring that out, let me come over here since.
Where did you send it?
So Darren and Donna created a nice Canva presentation to show you the kind of the cost breakdown and the benefits of doing this. So how many of you have come from schools or other places where you had homecoming at your institution? Okay, and for how many of you did you participate in homecoming? Yeah, so at most schools, like my daughter has her, now it's called HOCO. I mean, you would say homecoming, HOCO. So she's got her HOCO coming up next Friday. She got her little black dress and everything. So it usually is a tradition on most campuses. And the idea at the college level, the event actually involves the entire community. So it's not a typical just dance. It's like a whole week of activities, and it accumulates to a football game. And so this year, our football game against the Dianza will be playing Foothill on our turf. And so it's November 18th is the actual game. So because this is our first year doing this, we are going to keep it pretty simple. And so our two students wanted to do a dance the Friday night before, the 17th. And it will involve different activities, but it's a way to engage and connect our students and do something fun, right? Because if you think about, if you've been here for a year or 2 years, our campus doesn't have a tradition. We don't have anything that involves our alumni. In fact, I don't think in my 5 years here, we've done anything with alumni. So, with that said, this would be a great opportunity for us to bring back our alumni, have them give more back to our campus, and hopefully the money will, you know, impact all of you in some beneficial way. So with that said, let me just explain kind of the bigger idea behind this. So for our senators and other folks that participated in our leadership training, I think it was day 2 when we had the lunch with our president and some other senior cabinet members. And then you all went upstairs and had lunch, and President Holmes was sitting with all of you. And I wasn't at that meeting or at that lunch up there, but as I understand it, President Holmes was talking about like events that we need on campus. He comes from kind of a student activities background, meaning he was a student leader like all of you, and he kind of rose to the ranks of president. So he has a real fondness for student leadership and doing programs and events. And so when he came here, and he came during COVID, but one of the things that he shared with us at the time is he would love for our campus to do more bigger events that involves the entire campus. Something that, you know, when we hear about it, like homecoming, people are like, oh, homecoming's coming up. We gotta go. We gotta be up. We gotta be there. We gotta show up for the football games. So, so that's kind of how it evolved. And so Donna and Darren then came to me and said, we really want to work on a homecoming event because we do see the benefits of this event. So do we want to? I'll follow the order of the presentation slides now. So yes, so as I said, we're going to do a dance and then a tailgate, which will be in another slide. We have already contacted Patrick, who oversees the conference rooms A and B. It can fit hundreds of people. So the conference room is available. And then these are just some decoration ideas. We want to provide food. You all had tasty pizza, so hopefully, you know, that's good enough food. These are some of the activities that we're thinking of having. So a photo booth, giant Jenga, cornhole, you know, just simple games. And some promotional and fun items that we're going to be giving away, like LED bracelets and necklaces. And we haven't yet decided on a final cost, but we've said this before, we need to figure out what value our DSAG card is to our students. We've never really been able to kind of market that. So we can say things like, well, if you pay for your DSAG card, if you have your photo ID card, you can come for free. Otherwise, it might just be $5. Now, we want to make sure that this is not a hardship for any student to be able to participate. So again, that is still to be discussed. Yeah, so let me finish my presentation and then we'll open it up for questions, okay? But good question. Okay, so yeah, so the people's, okay, we'll just leave it at that. Go ahead. All right, so then the football game is the next day and it starts at 1 o'clock. And so we wanted to do some form of tailgate. So if you're new to this country or you don't know what tailgate is, it's simply just you, before the game, you get together with a bunch of friends. Usually it's in the parking lot and people, they go all out. They'll bring their own barbecue grill sometimes, and you just simply, it's like a pre-party, basically, is what it is. So our thing was that, or what we're hoping is, we already found out that Patrick and the dining services is not available to us that day. So we're gonna have to go to an outside vendor to provide free food for our students. So when I was at San Jose State, my office was involved in doing like a tailgate for our students of color because I was the director of the Mosaic Cross Cultural Center. And so we gave out free meal tickets to the first, like, I can't remember, like it was like 200 students. And the idea is that then they stay for the game as well. So I just spoke with the athletics director not too long ago, and he told me that as long as you have the DSAG card, you get into the games for free. Otherwise, I think he said it's $8 or $10 for everybody else. So that's another benefit. So, and that is true for the three sports that they charge for. I think it's volleyball, forgot the second one, and then football. So those games you do have to pay, but if you have your DSAG card, they are free to students. Okay, so so we're not sure of the vendor yet because we haven't explored because you know all of this is happening so quickly. But the idea is that students would be able to come and get free food, and then we'll give away promotional items like T-shirts. Maybe we'll throw a couple of little plastic footballs. I have a story. My freshman year in college, it was many years ago. I went to my very first football game because my friends were going. And they were throwing these footballs, and one hit my head. I wasn't even trying for it. Everybody's like clamoring, trying to. It hit my head and fell on my lap. And I was like, oh, I've kept that football for over, how old am I? Over 30 years. I don't know why I can't give it. It just is something, you know, it's a memory, and now it has a sentimental value to me. So anyway, so we'll give away more promotional items at that event. And then the idea is that we go to the game and watch it together. Can you go next slide?
Yeah, I also think Dana just entered the meeting.
Oh, okay. She wanted to say, I don't think she wanted to say, she might have left and then back. So here's some possible cost of the dance. So obviously we'll need to spend some money on decorations, some food, and these are again all cost estimates. We're not sure exactly if this is kind of where it's going to fall. Some activities and other, you know, we say amenities, but it's really promotional items. So the total cost of this
There's
is about,
there's more cost on the next slide.
oh, okay, sorry. Oh, yeah, and then this is for the tailgate. Yeah, so this is for the tailgate. Again, the food is always going to be the most expensive thing. And then if we did face painting and giving away pom-poms and stuff like that. So
One more.
is there another slide? Yeah, because Maritza helped with these slides. Okay. Yes, we will need to have custodians on hand, just so like at our flea market, we always have to pay for custodians and for our security. So security meaning our actual police officers have to be on site because of the largeness of the event. So, and this could also fudge a bit because I know like with security, it depends on which officer is being assigned because our more senior officers, they get paid more. So, but this is just to show that these are some additional costs that we'll have to pay. What's the next?
So those are,
Oh.
those are estimates. You know, we still need to have a real conversation with campus police about, with the scope of the dance, especially how many staff are they gonna require? That's for one staff member. If they say like, we feel like we're gonna need more than one for the tailgate because it's a larger space. So it's possible, but so that is the minimum likely estimation for it's all labor costs. It's a 4-hour minimum, even if the event is less than 4 hours, it's a 4-hour minimum for those fees.
Yes, and like, I know that if we handle any kind of money, that's gonna require additional security, because one's gotta be over by the table where we're exchanging money, and then another one, walking the event. So yeah, so these are estimates. The other thing is, this event isn't gonna cost us 10,000. That's what we had asked for DSAG, knowing that at the time, we didn't know that, we had all these other reserves as it's that said. So hopefully, it's not gonna put a big dent in our special allocations. But the idea is that, I meant to follow up with President Holmes since he was here, but they left, before I could talk to him. I've asked him to match what DSAG can provide in his discretionary fund. So we're hoping to get an additional 10,000 from him. And we've already approached Foundation. That's the office that receives donations, outside donations and endowments. We're hoping that they could also provide some of the money. We're also hoping that athletics will pitch in, like maybe through security for tailgate. So this is not all on DSAG, but I think the idea is that we are going to create hopefully a new legacy where 5-10 years from now, when you come back and maybe one day your kids come back and you're coming back from homecoming, you can say, if you choose to have kids, like, hey, I was on Senate, I approved this event, and this was part of our legacy. And so that's what we're trying to do here, is to create some to increase our pride and our spirit, and to have something that the community can come together. So both our faculty and staff and students and our alumni. So that's who we're trying to target here.
Okay. So the only thing I'll add is that in addition to providing funding, we would also love to see this group, especially the programs committee, to be involved in the actual planning. This would be an awesome, DSG, collaborative and legacy events. So yeah, just know, like, this isn't just, we're not asking for money, but we definitely want you to be part of the planning, envisioning, your ideas for how this can happen. This is our first time. This is a really a great opportunity to to build this and hopefully make it a thing that lasts. And then just know, like, just with my coordinator role, I would definitely be the point person for a lot of the logistics with other campus partners that we need to work with for an event like this to be.
So Sia, we'll be having conversations with you, because obviously your committee would be a natural fit in doing this, but it would hopefully become a DSAG event in the future. So
before we get into questions, Donna or Darren, are either of you here? Do you want to add anything, or do you feel like we got it? Are they here?
Hi, yeah. Could I add something?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, in case most of you guys don't know, this is the first time that we're doing a homecoming, at least in a really long time, and we're really hoping that this becomes a tradition. And so we'd really appreciate if we could get volunteers from DASG so that we can make this event as great as it can be.
And I see, Darren, do you have anything to add?
Nope, not at the moment, but pretty much everything I believe has been said, and we are hoping that this event does get approved, like through the Senate today. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to like the decision, I suppose.
And I saw questions over here.
Question, what's the total budget you have, like out of like the 10,000, like how much of the total that we have like allocated?
For, you mean out of the special allocation?
Special.
Okay, so maybe Itzhak can speak to that.
We have 16,000 right now in special allocation, 16, but we're planning on like getting more.
Like 50 grand, yeah. And let me just add some context to this. The event of this nature on most campuses is like over 100 grand. I mean, we're talking about, they put out the red carpet kind of deal, we're doing this very small this year because it is not manageable, given that, like, this would be something we would start talking about like winter quarter next year to plan for this homecoming for next year. So we're really scaling it down right now. Okay, I'm sorry, Dennis, you were saying something and then we'll go
Well, I
on.
think Lisa had mentioned possibly 100,000.
Possibly 100,000 to be put back in our special allocations. So maybe just a minor dent. Okay, so over here, Christopher.
Have you guys figured out how you're gonna promote this as well? I know DASG marketing can only do so much, but if you're trying to get more widespread, are you gonna be having ads somewhere? Or are you gonna be?
Yeah, great question. So our next step in trying to figure out who we involve in the planning is we're gonna be contacting our communications and marketing office. So not the subcommittees here, but our actual DANSA marketing communications. And so we're hoping that they will do a lot of the marketing for us and put together professional marketing materials. But of course, our DSAG marketing will be involved in that. Our ICC marketing will be involved in that. We just haven't figured out exactly how that's going to be all coordinated. So being that it's already October, what is today, 5th or 6th? And this event is November 18th. Like, we need to be putting out the save the date, a call, like in the next week. But this all just organically happened in the last couple of weeks. So it's moving very fast. But yes, marketing is going to be a big part of this foundation, said that they will market to our alums. Yeah, Daniela?
So if this were to get approved, is it just alumni and DANSA students that can attend this, like, and the team, or is it open to like the rest of the community?
No, this will be open to everybody, including faculty and staff, and we're hoping that they will come and support. I don't know if any of you been to a football game here or to any of our sports. I've been to a couple, and honestly, it's really sad. There's like no students, and it's like parents there if they live locally, so I feel like I'm at it's less attended than a high school, team. So yes, we're hoping that it's an event that's open to all. But with that said, this the dance is kind of targeted to just our students, and then the tailgate, the part that we're going to coordinate, the barbecue, is only going to be for students. So alumni. So that's why we need to figure out, well, if alumni want food, where are they going to get food? We haven't yet figured that out. And I don't know if that's really our responsibility, because if you just say it's a tailgate, people will come, and as long as we have space for them, they'll come find a parking space and then they'll bring their own food. So, but we wanted to provide the food for our students and the games and different activities. So, yeah. Let me go this way. There was a hand over. Caitlin, did you have a?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna ask, maybe I misheard this, but you guys are looking to kind of scale it up as the years go on.
Yeah.
So for the budget for finance, are you looking to have that as like the thing that continually gets funded every year?
Yeah, and of course, if it's a huge success this year, we might be asking more for the following, years. Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of, we just had to start somewhere, but I can tell you, as you can just see already, I mean, just the food costs alone is gonna wipe out our budget. And so with that said, that's why we need money elsewhere. So this is not going to cover everything. If this is all the money we get, then we're really going to have to scale everything down. And I don't know if it will become the event that we want it to be. So, I thought I saw a hand over here. Okay, yeah.
I know you mentioned that it was like cater towards the end, but have we also considered maybe partnering with Foot Health and seeing if we can do like a district one?
Yeah. So we've been meaning to contact our counterpart to ask them, because first of all, I don't even know if they do homecoming either. And so, but maybe like at the football game, doing something during like halftime, like some kind of fun, healthy competition, maybe the two mascots go at it in some, game or something, but it would be fun. And it could be, and that's what we're talking about, tradition, that every year when we play against Foothill, and next year it's going to be on their campus because they alternate every year, that we just have some kind of friendly competition every year. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. Do you do a mascot competition? Because they're the owls. They're the not. You do it?
So it's kind of like two things. One is like just sort of a comment, like I heard a student today say, hey, we should talk to student government to see if we can get a dance on campus. And then I was like, hey, actually, we're planning that, like seeing if we can do that. And the other thing was a question, like for music for the dance, was that something that was on the budget? Or are we just gonna kind of?
Yeah, I mean, those are. Yeah, we were thinking about either having a DJ, and usually if you're a DJ professional, they have the means to play those music. So, yeah, so we were even thinking maybe even a live band and, you know, just something to, you know, or, you know, I mean, if we don't have the budget, it's just gonna be screaming on my, you know, my little soundtrack, my little boombox here. Okay, but the other thing I want to say about the dance is, so the dance will be like the main activity, but we know not everybody wants to dance. I mean, I need to dance, you know, but we're gonna also reserve the fireside so we can have some other, you know, spaces for students who, or just need to take a break from the dance and go in there and socialize. So it's not just all come and dance and, you know, show your stuff, but you know, we're gonna have other activities as well. So I'm glad that student said, oh. Matthew and then Jason.
Would we be limited in the amount of tickets we could sell to the dance because of the space in the room?
Yes, but being that it's first year, I don't know if we'll have an issue, but yes, we'll definitely need to plan for that because we don't want, you know, 5,000 people showing up for the dance because there's clearly not a capacity. So those are things with the planning committee we'll have to kind of finalize. Yeah, and like for sure, like the tailgate, we can't just say, come and you get a free meal. We'll have to limit it, and so we're trying to figure out what's the best way forward with that. Should we let them come here and grab a ticket, or you know, what if they don't show up and they took 20 or something like that? So, yes, I think Jason.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the budgeting, because I saw that they actually pay for like the activities, right, like team booth, because I thought how it usually work was we invite them and they actually pay us to have like set up your stall.
Yeah, so part of that is the fee that we're gonna potentially charge if you don't have a DSG card, but these kinds of events, because it's the first year, and also when you think about the demographics of our students, we don't want to create any kind of hardship for anyone to not be able to participate just simply because of funds. And so if that's why we're asking a lot of money from different places so that we can provide these activities for free to our students or at a lower cost. So this is not, and you may raise a good point, this is not a money-making, this event is not supposed to be a revenue-generating kind of event. It really is an event that's supposed to excite people, to bring them to campus, to participate in all the different activities. So, but, you know, that could be a conversation we have in the future, you know? So for example, if we're inviting the community and alumni, maybe we work with athletics and share the cost of the tickets or something, you know, that they receive, you know, whatever, we do 50-50 or we get 30% because we're the ones putting on this event and they're coming because we're planning it, right? But good question. Richie?
So I just had two questions. The first one for Eva. So I was kind of confused. Where is the $100,000 coming from? Is that still like from like from what? Oh, no, I'm saying like
The reserve.
The reserve, yeah.
Yes.
So that's
Actually, do you have, or maybe Dennis can answer that, yeah.
So, we'll go over just some of this in more detail when we talk about the budget. You know, the budget structure at some point we'll do another tutorial or whatever about that, but basically there's money left over from last year that is in a reserve fund that will be allocated in next year's budget or for next year's budget. Money left over from the year before was put in reserve for this year's budget, so that was allocated last winter. The extra money that we have gotten is from the HERF, Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund, so COVID relief funding. And I think this is the last round of COVID relief funding we're going to be getting. We've gotten a few rounds, mostly to make up for lost flea market revenue because we couldn't have the summer during COVID. So we got one more round of COVID relief funds after the budget was approved last winter. So this couldn't be included in that, so now we got some extra money. So right now, it's in that reserve fund that's for next year, but Lisa is suggesting to keep that from being too huge, because it's really gonna throw the budget numbers off if we leave it all in there. Is to maybe move some of that into this year's reserve and then put it into special allocations.
Yeah, so it's a combination, so it's money that wasn't used up the last couple of years, and then also this ERF money, so. Yep. Yeah, so it's, I think I heard about $100,000 is what we have that could potentially go back into the special allocations. Yeah.
And my second question is, did we like, and do we consider having like the homecoming on campus, maybe somewhere else? Or
I mean, that, well, not for this year, what were you thinking in terms of what kinds of events? I mean, like next year when it's at Foothill, it would, you know, we would probably have to do the tailgating there, but.
because I remember back in our high school, we basically had like a homecoming game, maybe like a day or two before, maybe like a day before, if I'm wrong. And then we went, I think, to downtown San Jose for a homecoming. What was it called? Yeah.
Oh, so you held your dance at like a convention or at a hotel? Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I know that was like kind of raised the budget a bit more,
Right.
but we had like a thought that kind of went.
Yeah, well, not for this year, but I think if we are able to secure more money and then, because sometimes these places you have to reserve like a year or 2 years in advance. So, and it does cost a lot of money to reserve like a hotel.
And if this is gonna be an official event using college money, I know the district is definitely gonna. There are, as far as any off-campus event that students are having, like there are request forms that need to be filled out. Each and every student that wants to attend, we need to fill out a waiver form. There's a lot of logistics around it, which Dennis and I are trying to work on an established travel code, which at this point, the park across the street would fall under this, literally anything off campus falls under. So our district leans on the conservative side when it comes to a lot of things. So I will just say like, I mean, just from in the first year, we definitely want to try to use as many of our existing resources as possible. If that's of interest, definitely reach out to us so we can have that in mind in our conversation with our dean and also the district to establish them maybe better.
But say the capacity of the conference ABs, you know, it's the amount of interest, supersedes what the capacity allows for. We may have to go off campus, right? I mean, the idea is that we want to make this a huge event and maybe instead of a dance, maybe we invite a band, like someone with some kind of name to it that we can actually make money, and use some of the local venues around here, or maybe have it played, in one of our venues on campus and then charge. And then it's more than just, our students, but we can allow for our students to go for free and then charge everybody else who comes. So, yeah, great idea.
Is there a specific reason why we're doing a dance and not maybe an event like you just mentioned that would actually benefit the college in a monetary sense?
I will just say, I get to ask about dances like a lot. I think a big part of it stems from the dancers that a lot of folks missed out on with COVID. So I think having events that we know students want, right? That's something that we want to try to be strategic about. And I would just say a dance is definitely something that
And homecoming is
in, like just for the experience. So that's part of the reason for that. But I mean, again, it's a conversation that we definitely want any committee to talk about. Like if we have something else that you think students will want to do more, right? But
and Donna actually was thinking like we would do a series of events that week that would lead up to some kind of dance or big event, and then the tailgate the next day. Some people ask, well, why don't you do the dance on the same day? It's just a lot. If you think about it, if you come to the tailgate at 10 in the morning, you go to the game, it's a 2-3 hour drive. hour game, and then it's like, do you really want to stay and kind of hang out for 2 more hours and then come to a dance? So that's why we decided to also separate it. But homecoming is also associated with some kind of dance, and that's why, to keep it simple, and because when you hear homecoming, a lot of the more traditional students are like, oh, a dance, so that was the other reason why. And it's cost effective because with dance you just have to hire a DJ, or we'll just use my phone.
I mean, I do want to say, just the more feedback I'm getting from our like seesaw, legally, we're not supposed to be doing that. Legally, there is a license that you need to be able to play music for any kind of public event. So we want to lean towards, even for a club day, even for our ITC events, definitely for this. DJ, which would cost me.
So Caitlin, and then the last question here, okay?
I just wanted to know some of the logistics. So it's like, how many students are you like estimating to attend? Because I just don't know.
We
things.
don't know, that's the thing. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it, because the first time we're doing this, we're hoping based on, and again, we don't have all of our money. So a lot of it is going to be dependent on how much money we actually have. Then that will determine how much food we can provide. And then that will determine, how many tickets we can, give out or sell. So yeah, at this point, we're hoping, 300-400 maybe for the dance, and then another like 250 maybe for the tailgate. So, but I mean, we hope that more will come, but that's all we can provide in terms of like a free meal. So, yeah. Well, I think after this year, there'll be a lot of information that we'll be able to collect. And then depending on, a lot of it is just dependent on funding. So if we get 50 grand next year, for example, we can double everything and do more events. But this year we're just trying to, do it because it's like a month and a half from now. And I'm already starting to like, oh my God, how are we going to make this work? Because it's such a short, time frame that we're working with.
So I don't really know much about homecoming, but I just had this question of like, will we sort of have a fee for alums to attend? Well, I don't really know how that works.
Yes,
usually, but-
so every campus does it differently. Usually homecoming, it is centered around the football game. So usually that just, sorry, it's probably my dad. He's got dementia, as you all know. He keeps calling me all day long. But the tickets, really the cost is the ticket to get into the football game. And so so they would just buy the ticket. We don't receive any of the revenue from the ticket. That goes directly to athletics because they handle all of that. So there really is no cost. And again, our job this year is not to really cater to the alumni, but because we are doing a homecoming event and perhaps we can provide something for them. But I think just having a homecoming event, that's going to attract a lot of people. And so I'm counting on communications, as Christopher was asking earlier about who's going to do the market. I'm really counting on foundation and communications to figure out what do you want to do with all the faculty, staff, and community folks that want to come to this event. So,
and to add to that, the way our foundation has really framed like donors and donations is we don't necessarily have donors that just give to DeAnza. They give very specifically. So like we'll have folks that were involved in certain programs. That they'll donate to. They'll give to certain departments because they made it in that, things like that. So being able to develop something like around DASG, around ICC, around the Office of College Life as something for them to want to give to because of this kind of event. That's one opportunity we have with this. And basically how the foundation would, do that is like by, the polling firm, recent alums, I forget what year, I want to say like 2012, this is like the furthest back that they have alums, like they can, try to be part of inviting them, but really just trying to get them excited, get them back so that we can pitch for that and kind of build that relationship so they can stay involved because there are so many people that went to DeAnza that are just scattered around the country, the world, right? And we really want to, try to develop that relationship. This is one way to do it just for DeAnza in general, but specifically for college life kind of stuff, so.
So I was at a San Jose State University game about a month ago, and as an alum, because I did my doctor work there, I was invited to come to this game and sit with the president in the presidential box. And so they have this brand new facility that just is beautiful. And so as I was being led into this new building where the presidential box is, I was walking along with this couple, and so, just making small talk. I was like, oh, so did you, when did you go to San Jose State? Just assuming that they went to San Jose State, or, what's their connection? And they said, no, we didn't go to school here. In fact, our two kids, one goes to like MIT and the other one goes somewhere else. And we're like, we don't even get to those schools. We love San Jose State. We actually have been giving to the library. So if you don't know the library, it's a collaboration with the city, but but that's what the part of the benefit of them giving is, then they get to go to these VIP events. And so you don't even have to have gone to DeAnza. It's just someone who's really interested in I think the values of our education here, and there's so much money right here in Cupertino. And so if we can draw on those kinds of, interests and make it a community event where people are like, hey, we're free Saturday afternoon. Yeah, let's go see this football game. Just by simply them coming here, they're actually putting money into our school. And so right now, we don't have any kind of event. In fact, I was telling somebody, I saw a poster that when we were cleaning out our office a few years ago, Dennis brought some of these posters to my office. He's like, do you want these? And I'm like, well, let me look at them. I'm like, oh my God, when did you all do this event? He's like, oh, it was like back in the 90s or 80s. We used to do this huge community event that involved DASG, I believe, or our office, and it was done across the street in that park. It was like a huge event. They had like car shows and I don't know, like a balloon or one of those hot air balloons. And but we've not done anything since then. I mean, that's like 30 years ago. So DeAnza has really been lagging. And I hope, when you all end up transferring, you're going to realize like, oh my gosh, DeAnza, get it together. We didn't do these events, and so part of our job here as the Senate is to help students get connected, right? I mean, I think all of you said that at some point, like you want to make this a better experience for the students after you and the students who are here now. This is part of the way in which we can really develop our community and get students excited to be here, because when they leave this college, I mean, you're only here for mostly 2 years. We want them to be able to think back and like, oh, what a great, fantastic experience that was. And it's anytime you have these social events, those are opportunities for people to meet new friends, right? And we know from COVID, that was like one of the number one things students kept saying is just, I want to be able to meet new people and socialize, right? No longer are we going to be on Discord. I mean, you can be on Discord, but people want face-to-face interaction. Okay, enough said. So, okay, one more question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Because it's time, but the money that or the funding, I should say, that we're getting from the college and from the reserve, that's a guarantee, right?
The reserve is our money already. It's just a matter of putting it into this year so that we can use it for this year's special allocation. The money, we already have the money. It's like just having it in your savings account and you're putting it into your checkings account. So, as a metaphor, yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. All right. So and we went over our time. And so when we go over our time, this is just something for the future. Someone should make a motion and extend the time. So, okay. But thank you all for giving me the time and our time. So at this point, someone needs to make a motion.
Yeah.
I heard to approve the $10,000 in funding for the funds of this year. I thought we have to move to discussion.
Yeah, sorry, discussion.
You don't just, yeah.
We can
Thank you,
discuss, after the motion, like right now.
But can they do it either way or? Well, yeah, you're.
Technically, you have a motion and then you discuss the motion.
Okay.
But either way. But yeah, so you can make the motion and second it and then, ask any questions or whatever you need to do. And then if there are no more questions or somebody moves to end discussion, then you can go to a full vote.
Is there any discussion on the proposed motion for?
Who's gonna move to reconsider the motion?
Reconsider what?
Like have a discussion.
Well, no, it's open for discussion now.
Okay, one thing I'll say is that I'm just concerned, about the time frame that we have. Right, it's only a month-ish, right, a month and a half-ish to plan all of this and to allocate all of like the 10K. I just am unsure about moving something when so little has been planned for it.
Yeah, I agree with Caitlin. I think that timing is really gonna be a big issue, and I think we could honestly use our time better. If we plan for something maybe in the winter, like January, maybe we can plan like a New Year's or a Winter Fest or something with all the money that we're getting.
Donna or Darren, would you like to respond to those questions about the planning timeframe? If you're on.
Yeah, so timing definitely is an issue. That's why we're kind of going for something that's smaller scale. We're not planning something that's really big. We're only expecting around like 300 people. And so, yeah, it's going to be a pretty small event. I definitely do think it's going to require a lot of work, but I do feel like it's doable. I definitely feel like we can make it work.
Yeah, that kind of has been one of the main concerns we thought of in the beginning, especially with, you know, this is also application writing season for a lot of people, but I do think that considering the scale of our event, we do think that is doable as long as we get the people in and the team in. Yeah, are there any other comments maybe or questions or concerns about this?
So, to respond to like the thoughts about maybe doing something during the winter, I would argue that, homecoming and prom are like the two iconic kind of events. Like, it might, like doing something in the winter isn't necessarily a bad idea, but the turnout wouldn't be as good, most likely, even with this short time period. And it's like, I don't know, it's iconic, like homecoming is just like iconic, and I think it's like we could either do homecoming, or if we were going to push it, then we should like wait and push it for like a sort of prom sort of event, but that's so far off that it's like, I don't know. I think we could do it. It'd be a short time period, but I think it'd be worth it. And we could always scale it up in the next years.
Brinty?
I just have a couple things I want to add. First of all, I wanted to ask if any survey has been done to gather the interest of the student body, because I feel like that's one of the more important things, like if they want something else. And second of all, I also want to ask a couple of questions of the numbers being thrown around, like the turnout and stuff. Is there any like hard data which indicates that there'll be 300 people, or is there anything that says that?
So no, again, you all, this is brand new. I mean, this organically happened during the training that you were all a part of. So clearly, you know, in the future, I think that as we, you know, move through this, we'll have more data. But yeah, no, we didn't put out any surveys. Part of it is also traditionally homecoming, as you know, Adrian pointed out, it's an iconic event that people already kind of understand what it is if you come from a traditional US school. And so it's something that everybody just kind of goes to. So we're counting on that idea that you know, most students will know what homecoming is. There's a dance, there's a tailgate. Again, these are traditional kind of things that most, I would say, if you grew up here in the American culture, these are things that you would know. And that's not to dismiss, you know, those that are not familiar with these events. But with that said, if I can also say, there's lots of studies that show that when students are not connected within the first like 6 to 8 weeks, we lose them. And so this is a critical event, and yes, the timing, you know, but we had no control over the timing. We actually were thinking of a whole week, but we, you know, when I was speaking with Donna and Darren, we're like, we really got to scale it down. It's got to be something that we can do, but it still do well, but something that is manageable. So we believe, and I'm very confident because Moritz and I are going to be part of this planning committee. At this point, we need the money to be able to go forward, right? And if President Holmes can match it, then you know, automatically we'll have 20,000 and then we'll keep continuing to seek for more funding and help elsewhere. But it really is just a matter of getting the food. We already have the place upstairs, it's available to us. So there really isn't any more planning other than working with the planning team, getting decorations and, you know, so it is, if I could just assure folks, we can do this.
I also wanted to respond to you can just say nothing else. So again, homecoming is traditionally a fall event, so it wouldn't be something you do in winter. It's either fall or you're doing something else if it's in winter.
Caitlin?
Did Coconut Homes, agree to match it already?
He hasn't, I don't know if he's seen my email, but he's got a pretty robust discretionary fund. And remember, he's the one that said he would like to see homecoming. So my guess is he's gonna give us some of that. But it hasn't been promised yet because he hasn't.
Don't.
Yeah, and adding on to that, just by seeing like downtown and Barron's Way, it only took them about like, they started about 2 weeks ago. So I think they planned all this out in only 2 weeks. So I know the time frame, but the amount they accomplished within like only 2 weeks of time, I think is a lot given what you see right now and what you see on funding wise and our budget. I feel like it's very much.
Okay. How did the administrators generally feel about this event?
Oh, they're gonna be on board. President, again, you know, actually, Rob Mieso, who you all know is our VP at DASG, he actually came up to me last week and said, Manju, we really need to bring back like weeks of welcome, like we need more activity, we need engagement. So we've already, and in fact, I actually shared this with Rob and Michelle RD, because I said, I want you to know that we're working on this before word kind of gets out, and they were very supportive of it, so. Yes.
Is there any more discussion or question? Asia?
I'll just make a quick comment. I think I had the same concern about the numbers and like whether attendance wise it's gonna actually be like a good number. But I think if we just like start marketing as soon as possible, then like more numbers could be better if we like market it effectively.
Caitlin?
Yeah, I know, I completely understand that, I don't understand why it wasn't like a spreadsheet pull up or something that we could see when we come here. These are the amount of attendees. This is the exact estimate of food we want, like per minute per person. So I think that like it's for sure something where personally, I would prefer to just table this for next week and then maybe more information can come because they still have to deal with the logistics anyways before they are able to do it.
No.
I think adding on to that, but I think the reason why they want the money first is so they can scale out how much they can do like logistically and how much they can plan for. Because if you don't get the money, then I don't feel like they were able to do like I don't know like get food for tailgating events or like have custodial fees and like
Reggie.
So I just had, I don't want to put you on the spot like this, but I had a question for Culture Day last year. So what was like the budget and like what was the turnout? Do you have any like statistics on that way? I'm just curious because it might be kind of.
Budget, I really don't remember, but I think for attendance, it's probably like. I'd say like 100.
And
I don't know, like low estimate, like.
And how many weeks did you have to plan?
I think we have definitely more time, I think, than is given now.
We
But
started like,
It's, you know, it's comparing apples and oranges, it's not the same kind of event, and it's not targeting the same, they say, populations.
Dennis?
Also, you want to think about, when you're looking at opportunities like this with that involve matching funding. You know, when you go to another organization or another president or whatever, and try to get matching funding, you want to show that, yes, the students are in favor of the event, they put in 10,000. Could you please match that? So until, you know, we can show that there is student interest from DNP, you know, there is no other matching funding, so that is the first step. will students be interested in a homecoming? So that's kind of the dual purpose here, getting the funding, but also gauging your interest.
Adrian.
I would think that, like, to respond to your, like, ask for like the hard data on like how many people would attend. I think that that's something that we could expect more for next year, once we've already put on the event and seen how many people would show up. Because at this point, the event hasn't been put on. So how can you ask for data on how many people would be there when the event hasn't even happened? It never has historically happened.
Yeah, I get that 100%. It's just like, okay, like, here's the food, right? So they said like piece of pizza. It's like, okay, like how many slices of pizza do you want to supply for one person, right? I'm not saying that like you have to do exactly what the budget, but I'm just like, okay, just like the general of like how much food are you looking to provide for Swayze.
If I could just add one more convincing argument. We operate over $1 million, and majority of the archives, as you all know, go to other offices to, support their programs. As a DSAG Senate, we have not shown what we could do for our students in a grand kind of scale way. We're talking about $10,000, you all, in the grand scheme of things, and we've got another 100,000 potentially going back into special allocations. Now, that's not to dismiss some of the good questions that I'm hearing about, well, what are the exact costs and the details? Again, this is a pilot year. Because of the very short time frame, we don't have all those details. I think Darren and Donna did a great job in looking, and they didn't just pull these numbers out of a hat. I mean, they went and they looked and see what the potential cost would be for custodial security, how much decorations. Of course, all of that is not going to be exact. These are estimates to give you a sense of what it might cost us. But again, without this money, and I would highly discourage you from tabling this, because already, as you've all pointed out, we have a very limited time. So once I know we have this money, then we can call those vendors and get some pricing and start to secure them, because at this point, we really can't do anything. I can't even call communications right now, because I mean, I could say, hey, we're thinking about it, but without like some commitment, financial commitment, we can't have all this other stuff happen. So in the grand scheme of things, $10,000 out of your budget really is not that much money. I mean, I was gonna ask for 20. I mean, because for this kind of event, you need a lot of money. And as I've already shared with you, 250 students out of 17,000 students on campus, and we can only afford maybe 250 students, because I don't know if simply because of cost, right? So your job as Senate is to figure out, how do we engage and represent our students? And what we're hearing is, and this is actually data from our institutional research, students want to be engaged, right? And so this is one way that we can show that, we're hearing their feedback, and that we want to do something that will become a part of our legacy and a part of an annual tradition that will excite people. We have a mascot, you all. And so we need to figure out where this mascot's going to show up, other than just, welcome day and, random days. We want to, $14,000 was spent on those costumes. So we have a mascot, we have a football team, we have all of these in place, but we don't have a way to facilitate people to come together.
Asia.
Yeah, just I guess adding on to that, like, since it's coming from our special allocations, obviously we have like 16,000 right now, so we'll take out 10,000. I think it's like, if we don't have any ideas right now of what we're gonna do with that special allocation, we also just newly found out we have like 50,000 or whatever number extra. I feel like we just might as well just try it out. Like okay, say it sucked, like the event, I mean, hopefully it doesn't, right? But like, just say it doesn't go well. It's okay. Like, it's at least we'll know like for next year what to do, what not to do, that kind of thing. But I think if we don't have anything right now that we know, like, we're gonna use the 16,000 from special allocation on, we might as well just approve it.
So I'm just wondering, like, how might we be able to ensure that we get maximum output for this event? Because ultimately that's the objective, right? I'm just wondering, because the event is coming up pretty soon, so like, what's like, has there been a procedure that's kind of been thought out on how to do
So
that?
that is all your jobs. I mean, we have marketing, we've got communications, but you all will have to do the field work. That's what you're gonna use your office and field hours for, getting out there, talking in your classes, making this presentation. So it's not, you're just looking at the planning committee and saying, how are you gonna make sure we get the most people? That's your job. That's how, we'll come to you and say, please make the presentations in your classrooms, please help us post, please put this in your social media, right? But we can't do this alone, and if this is truly gonna be a DSAG, event, then it's really all your job to help us market and try to get as many. You're on the social media, tell all your friends they gotta come to it, right? If you each bring 5 students, I mean, just multiply that, I mean, that's a quarter of the people we're targeting, so.
This is just a question for the advisors and I guess like whoever's planning it, but have you considered possibly also reaching out to local high schools in the area on seeing how like their budget is, on how long it takes for them to plan it, where their venues are from? I don't know if this is like relevant or not, but I just wanted to ask.
Well, I think if we wanted to kind of get some pricing, I mean, again, it's kind of comparing apples and oranges, right? I don't know if they get charged for using their facilities, right? I'm not getting charged for using conference room, right? We get charged for using the conference room? There's some costs associated like with cleanup, but I don't think we get.
It's the custodial cost, but not for like use of the space itself. It's just one, because it's a Friday evening, just for like custodial and security.
Right, but we know what the costs are gonna be, the venue usually, and again, the food, the activities, the decorations, I mean, those are all very. Basic costs to putting on an event like this, and if we decide to go with the DJ versus using my Spotify,
Okay,
I think Adrian has.
Donna, do you have something to say?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I just want to go back to the marketing point. I think Club Day would be a really good time to market. At least, what ICC was thinking of doing was like making flyers for HOCO and then like promoting it on Club Day. So I think if DASG could also do that as well, that would be great.
Adrian, and I don't think we have time for.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I moved to end debate because our next discussion item was supposed to start 10 minutes ago.
Second.
Adrian moved to end debate, seconded by Isaac. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, we're gonna end debate. For the main motion that Adrian proposed and Joel seconded, off funding $10,000 for this homecoming funding request, are there any objections?
I thought the wording was like objections, like that there weren't objections. Yeah, there's no objections, it's just voting. For Robert's.
What was it?
Lydia asked, are there any objections, but I thought there are no objections, we just vote.
No, if there are no objections, then it's passed. If anyone objects, then we have to move to a vote to see how many people say yes, how many say no.
Was there mention that there's no objections, like that you don't have to ask for objections, it's just like you just make a motion.
No, there's already a motion on the floor. The motion was already made.
Oh, the way he taught us was that you don't ask for objections.
It doesn't matter, let's just.
Justin asked him, what did you say about that objection?
Okay, so the important thing is the intent. So we have a motion on the floor, we had discussion. Guys, so the important thing is the intent. So a motion was made, then we had discussion on the motion. And then a motion was made to end debate, so that passed, because there was no to that motion. Now, again, the intent is, okay, now does the motion pass or not? So are there any objections? Yes or no? If no, it's passed. If yes, we take a vote.
So,
Lydia, so where are we?
so are there any objections?
Any objections to the motion?
To fund one $10,000.
So unless you have, yeah, so no more discussion, so. Any objections to that motion?
Okay, I just want to be clear. Are you sure you don't want to object? I'll object it for you if you want.
No, that's not. That's so. So it looks like there's no objection.
Okay, seeing no objections, the motion is passed unanimously.
Thank you all, and we will, you know, to the best of our ability, we'll probably participate in the next. Caitlin and Chris, I mean, because it is a harder conversation when sometimes you're the minority voice, but that is part of the beauty of this process. So don't feel like you cannot speak your mind, because we want you to speak your mind if you have any questions about any discussion items in the future. So I want to thank them for modeling that, because sometimes, you know, it is hard to be kind of the opposing view. So with that, good modeling.
Donna, do you have anything else to mention?
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll be moving on to the next business item, which is the DHG representative shared governance guidelines. This item is to present the guidelines and practices for attending to the government meetings and work on service government.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it like really short because honestly, I don't want to be here for so long. So for shared governance, first of all, go to the meetings. That's it. Try to be engaged. There is a best practices for student voices in shared governance, and you should your shared governance should have assigned you a mentor in your shared governance. And if your shared governance hasn't reached out yet, contact them again. And for those, okay, I think some people still haven't gotten their shared governance assigned yet because there were like a lot of things that happened like last week. But I'll try to have it done hopefully by next week. So that's that. Yeah, go to the meeting and then report what was talked in the shared governance, and send it to the advisors and on Discord. I'll send it on Discord and I'll track it. And if there are multiple representatives on your committee, you don't have to write separate reports, but make sure to add your name on the shared governance report. So that's that.
Also,
I mean, it would be best if you collaborated, you just submit one report, but you know, work together to make sure you're remembering everything and reporting everything. And then, yes, make sure all the names are on there, so that Isaac can take attendance for who attended.
Any questions? No? Okay.
so next business item, the DHG office hours.
And also office hours, field hours, you're required, and it's on the scholarship, and it's tracked by me. So on Discord, okay, I've gotten some confusion on where is the online office hours located. So it's on the main DASG server, not the DASG server. That way I can track it. Also, if you did it on the DASG server, I don't know. So it doesn't count. So yeah, that's that. And then for in-person office hours, I just like put a sheet there. So you write your name and when you did it. But when I have time, I'll change it hopefully. Yeah, so that's that. Any questions?
Are we supposed to log the online hours
You just go into the voice chat and then it logs you automatically.
in the main server?
Yeah.
Not the DSG server?
No.
Budget chat?
There is a DASG office hours chat. Yeah.
It auto logs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bot that says when you go in and when you go out. So.
Yeah. Okay.
What about welcome our field hour and what are like welcome day hours count for that?
Yes, welcome day hours count for that. You have to finish 8 hours in total, per quarter for field hours. Welcome day count, yeah, everything related to DSG basically counts. That is not your responsibility. So,
Tomorrow's event counts too.
yeah, if you like are tabling or is helping with the tomorrow's event, it counts. If you're tabling on club day, it counts. And just hand it in before, I don't remember what you do, but it's due like before end of the quarter or something. And you can just send
Yes,
it.
if you're referring to the scholarship deadline, I think it was, what was it? It was in the code.
No, I'm talking about the few manuals.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a specific deadline mentioned, but if you were referring to the deadline that we put in the scholarship code. Because, you know, you need to report your field hours on that. By 4 p.m. the 10th Friday of each quarter is what we had put for that.
Yeah, so that's that. I don't think if you're like a rep from like PPS or FS or whatever, I don't think you have to do it. Yeah,
I think so.
So just FYI, but if you want to do it, you're always welcome to. So, yeah.
Is there like a form or something to keep track of our field hours?
I'll keep track of it, but you have to send me like what you did. And
I have a question regarding shared governance.
Uh-huh.
So there are a few shared governances that are TBA still.
Mhm.
So is it gonna be like when they've decided, like when they're gonna be meeting, is it gonna be updated on, like, where is it?
If I will get a response, I'll update it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does flea market count as field hours?
Well, you're working to that, doesn't count, but
I didn't, like it did show up too much.
yeah, so if you show up on Saturdays tabling, I think is that what you're
This
saying?
tabling, but or at least Dana and I were thinking of maybe in the finance committee, where we could open it up to like the rest of the Senate to have people kind of come during the flea market and help out as well.
I would
And
say
that could
count.
be the field hours.
In my opinion, count it.
Okay.
Would they be like representing DSG or just helping around?
Helping out with the flea market.
I don't know, I think it would have to be like at each week or something.
Yeah, you did table a couple of months, but that could.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
If you're tabling and helping, it's fine. But if you're working that, that's it. Sorry, you can't double count. Is there any more questions? I think it's just a discussion item, so, that's good, okay.
I'm also gonna ask for a motion to table this item because we're running out of time. And we can do it next meeting too. So can I get a motion to table the DSG goal setting item?
I will table the DASG goals and item.
Moved by Isaac, seconded. Seconded by Isaac. Are there any objections?
So is that just table to next week or what specifically? So many people are talking.
Table next week.
Objected, I barely did.
Okay, seeing no objections, this item is tabled for next week. Moving on to public comments, are there any public comments? Seeing no public comments, are there any advisory announcements? Moving on to Senate announcements. How's it go?
Just make sure to check the announcements chat and sign up to help tomorrow in the DHG.
Isaac?
DSG is tabling on the flea market on the Saturday, so if you want to join. Yeah, and IPC too, they're in it. They're there.
Oh, and for this particular flea market, just like weeks of welcome, we kind of host visitors or shoppers and even vendors to kind of come in like the official colors of the Anza. So if you do have like, if your wardrobe's not just like monochrome like mine, like wear the official colors and then, or even if like, say like your parents are coming and they're part of like UCLA or something, they can wear like UCLA's colors. And if you see the Mountain Lion logo,
that should mean discounts for, I think it's the students, but it may be open to all depending on the vendor. And also we have our own student club, so MVA is performing from 10:30 to 11:30. So yeah, come and watch like Javier perform and the rest. Yeah.
What time will DASG be tabling for this Saturday?
I ain't got no groups.
9 to 2.
Okay.
Ariana?
Alright, I forgot, the class will be, reselling the donated goods that we have collected, and the proceeds are gonna go to a scholarship for undocumented students. So please visit our stand.
Any more set announcements?
Just wanted to say thank you to all the people who helped clean up the lounge, like right before the meeting.
Any other set announcements? One last set announcement, we have executive advisory right after, so please don't. Are there any student trustee announcements? For the.
Oh, I mean, if there's anyone here, anything else, but we just don't know what the process is.
For introduction and approval of prospective senators, we currently don't have any vacancies within the Senate. But if there's anyone here who's interested in running for one of our 5 diversity seats, please let me know so I can put your name down. Is there anyone interested in running for a diversity seat? Seeing no one, I adjourn this meeting at 5:58 p.m.
We have Lydia also hand for. So for. 5 minutes.
I feel like